Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This Memorial Day weekend, which is really celebrated, is coming Monday, but a lot of people got the early start. But what we want to do, we got some border wars, we got hate crimes, we had what happened in Buffalo, what happened in Texas, while the NRA was having their national meeting with the Honorable Donald Trump. And we'll go from there. But in the first place, we're talking about Decoration Day back in 1866, right after the Civil War, then 1868. But let's go to our Honorable... I hear something in the background. Well, let's go to our Honorable Scott Owens about hate crimes. Hold on, please. You guys go ahead. I don't know why somebody's knocking on my door. Scott, go ahead. You guys go ahead.
Well, this is Scott Owen, and I can't fathom why these people are doing these hate crimes. The Buffalo shooting and the one in Texas. It's just mindless. I'm not sure what Mr. MC would like me to say about it, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. Just
go ahead.
And it's.
What are we talking about now?
We're still talking about hate crimes and what I think about them. They're mindless. People who do things like that are evil, and there's no reason for hate crimes. If anything, we should be loving each other.
Okay. Well, let me ask you.
Yes.
Do you think that there was a hate crime in Buffalo? And there was a hate crime in Texas this past week?
The one in Buffalo, definitely. The one in Texas, I'm not really sure what he had to hate, but unless you hate elementary school kids, and but it was ill. It was not taken care of well by any stretch of the imagination.
And anytime we appreciate your comments too, Mr. Ara. But let me ask you this. Now, will any of they claim, or we know for a fact now, that the policeman dropped the ball? Were any of those policemen that were supposed to be guarding the school, were they Latino or were they Europeans?
They've dropped the ball 100 times there. At least according to everything I'm reading.
Okay. While he's reading, Mr. Folks, what do you think? What's your guesstimation on that?
Well, in Buffalo, we already know that was a hate crime. That's all the killer that did this crime. I mean, that was his intention, was a hate crime. In Texas, we still yet to get an understanding why he killed, those kids. Matter of fact, we're not even sure they ever gave his nationality, who he was, but he was under a bunch of Mexican kids for the most part. Because this little small town is very close to the border, but one thing I would say, there was some very articulate, very smart young kids. And it was very much, in tune, to being good students and stuff. So we don't know why he did what he did. But we know that he did kill his grandmother. He tried to kill his grandmother, who did survive the shooting.
Well, let me ask you this. They said he was a school dropout.
Yes.
Did they say what his nationality was?
So I just said that there's no one that said what his nationality was, so we don't know exactly why he did what he did. All we know that he definitely knows 18 years old, but as to his nationality, no one has said that yet at this point.
What have you heard, Scott?
I haven't heard anything about nationality either, sir. All I know is a very tragic way to end 19 kids' life.
Well, let me ask you this: how does a European define a hate crime?
Well, I don't consider myself a European. I'm just an American like you. But I define a hate crime as something that is done to another person, or any other person really, that is different from you, just because of the difference.
Okay, and they say it's just like back in the Civil War, we had black folks that fought on both sides.
Yes, we did. And we had white folks who were fighting for the end of slavery.
Right.
So, it was on both sides. You're right, and throughout the wars. I mean, World War II, we had the Tuskegee Airmen, and the Buffalo Soldiers, and other people that were very brave and fought for the United States.
Mr. Aura, you have lived close to a plantation. What type of your thought process relating back those days you heard about the plantation?
Well, MC, as far as me, I was born on a plantation, but on the plantation, my mother, on her side, she was born on a plantation. But I was raised in a regular city, which was the third largest city in Mississippi at that time, Vicksburg. And there was no, any thoughts, okay, about people being different. Some people had that, people didn't. And we were kind of the half generation that we had, most things everybody had, that caused us normal everyday people.
Well, we talk about plantation, we talk about slavery. We also, a lot of people are capitalizing off of slavery by making them tourist attractions. We can go down Mississippi, we can go all over, that they are now tourist attractions to draw people in.
Well, MC, I think that it's not necessarily the Civil War is that there were two people They were fighting for different causes. It wasn't necessarily totally. It was about that about cotton. It was about the workers they needed to have. The people who had money, okay, and the blacks, were not involved. And like God just said, I agree. We was on both. We fought for both sides there. So it wasn't a thing about that. It was about people who wanted to own slaves. That was the one that was basically for the war.
Okay, we're talking about going back 1866. We're talking about going back 1860. We're talking about Decoration Day to now Memorial Day. And the same token, while we're looking that up, we'll see if we can get our invited guests on the line. But I think we can just go ahead and talk about Memorial Day or Decoration Day as we see it today. A lot of people take their time out to go to the cemetery to put flowers, wreath, or whatever on their loved ones.
Let me say this first one, okay? My father, okay, fought in World War I, and he was buried in the cemetery in Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is a national memorial. And matter of fact, we put a wreath on his grave. Matter of fact, he was as a veteran. We put flags on his grave every year. And so right now, I honor any veteran who fought any wars, from the Civil Wars, from the World War I, World War II, Korean War. We had the Vietnam War. We had the war in the Middle East. All those veterans are the ones that we're honoring right now on Veterans Day. And that's what the Veterans Day, Memorial Day is about. Honor people who have fought for our country. And that's what this day is all about.
Well, let's go back. You said your father fought in World War I?
Yes, he did, sir.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Elaine situation that happened in Arkansas?
I know, I'm not hearing anything about Arkansas other than what I learned from you on this program.
Well, they said approximately about 150 World War I black veterans, they were sharecroppers in Elaine, Arkansas, whereas they wanted 75% of the profit. And the people, the real Klan, didn't believe in that. They murdered all of them, and nothing has been done to date. Now, if someone would check with the Arkansas A&N in Pine Bluff, the history teacher probably can tell you about what happened in Elaine. Now, we can also talk about what happened in Ketcher, Arkansas, what happened in the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But not only those cities and states, but this is something that's been occurring all over. What is your background or your thought process on these situations that you probably heard about or read about? Then we're into the 1619 project, and coming up in September, we're going to have some very state-of-the-art workshops dealing with that and other prominent things we think as it relates to people of color, but not only people of color, but people in general.
Well, MC, I consider myself not an expert don't consider myself an expert in knowing about the wars of any type. But what I know about Arkansas, like I said before, I listened to your show where you had on several professors on your program as well as some historians there. And we had listened to talk, like Michael Anderson, another young man, Mr. Bay, who had talked about what they're doing in Arkansas as far as slavery and for the using the black people land and put it to other use. So I'm not familiar otherwise than that about very little about how. Matter of fact, MC, in Vicksburg, Mississippi, where I grew up, it was very much in a Confederate city, and in there, we had Confederate flags all over the place, and that's why one of the greatest wars that when the Civil War was lost by the South was actually in Vicksburg when they lost the war there, when they was expecting the North to come up the river, come up the river to invade Vicksburg, and the general went around. If you know your history, he came into Vicksburg from the rear, and they were caught totally off guard. They felt Vicksburg was on a hill that they could not. They were somewhat invincible because they could go up the river, and they were attacked from behind. And that's where one of the greatest losses would contribute to the defeat of the South in the Civil War.
Okay, before we're going to go to Mr. Scott Owen, but before we get to that, in New Orleans at the National World War II Memorial, they have information on the Navajo Indian tribe broke the code in World War II. Also, they had 860 black female postal workers because of racism wasn't allowed to deliver the mail, and they broke through that. Now, let me ask you, Mr. Scott Owen, you got a very important seminar that's going to take place next week. Tell our audience what's going to take place and who are you targeting?
Certainly. The group, the Disabled American Veterans, which is a lobby for all veterans who are disabled. They've been around for over 100 years, and I'm going to be at the state convention, the Missouri State Convention next week. So we're going to be broadcasting a repeat show of Mr. MC's, the Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City. And what we're going to be doing at the meeting is talk about the transportation that disabled American veterans can have, and all the different services that how to file a claim, how to file an appeal, what we can do to help with the lobbying of Congress and things like that. So that's it's a very important work that we're going to be doing next week in Jefferson City.
Oh, I'm glad. I was going to ask you where would it take place, or it'll take place in the capital of Missouri,
Yes.
Jefferson City. Okay. Let me ask you. Each president normally comes in and announce who is Secretary of the VA Veteran Affairs. How do you rate our present Veteran Administration as compared to the previous one with Donald J. Trump?
Are you talking about the Disabled American Veterans or the Veterans Administration?
The Veterans Administration. Normally the president, same way he named the chairman of the FCC, Federal Communication Commission,
Right.
They also named the different secretaries to head up what they think consider the important departments in the different states of the nation or what have you. Just want to get your idea of what you think. Are you really benefiting as a veteran to get all the cooperation you try to seek from the Veterans Administration?
I think I'm benefiting. I think the Veterans Administration could be improved a lot, but I don't think that it's I think that they are changing in a good way. I like the privatization that we're getting. We're looking at people who weren't able to get services before that can now. The adjudication system is getting better, where they're including more people, and it's one of those things that the VA is there. I mean, Lincoln said that we needed to take care of the widows and the children of those who bear the brunt of war. And
well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You'll be in Jeff City next week, and we'll be rebroadcasting this show next week.
Sure.
Is there a registration fee? How do people get involved who would like to be a participant in it? Do they necessarily have to be a veteran or veteran spouse or family?
The bylaws of the DAV does say that you have to be a veteran of any war, of course, or any time. But you go to DAV.org, you can become a member of the DAV, and any service officer from a DAV or American Legion or whatever can help you with your claim. Get a little bit of compensation for documented maladies. That's all you really need. Just I'm the service officer for Chapter 53, which is the greater St. Louis area, not including the city. So
okay, if you just tune in, you listen to Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City, and we're talking to two old pros on the line, both located in Ferguson and St. Louis, Missouri. But I want to know from either you, Mr. Folks, or you, Mr. Scott Owens, what does a person have to do to benefit by attending this special, I guess, seminar, or what would you call next Saturday show? Where you be in Jeff City?
Well, it's the DAV State Convention, and it's where your service officers are going to learn how to be a service officer. In other words, what paperwork to fill out, privacy issues, etc., so forth. But I believe you can attend the meetings, but you have to be in the state executive committee to actually vote or anything like that.
Okay, that's for the voting process.
Yeah.
But also, veteran spouses, they're able to attend it too, but they just can be in attendance, right?
Well, yes, or if you'd like to become part of the Disabled American Veteran Auxiliary, I think that's under the DAV.org website as well.
Mr. Folks, about that we know of that you're a veteran, how do you feel about this? Do you think... No, I'm not a veteran. No, I'm not.
However, Mr. MC, you're a veteran.
Yes, I am.
Why don't you tell us about your experience?
Okay. I've gained a lot by being a veteran, and they have served me well in a lot of situations. Some of them need some improvement, but I cannot really knock the VA.
Good.
But what were you getting ready to say, Miss Sarah, folks?
Oh, so I'm not a veteran. That's what I said. No, I'm not a veteran. No, I'm not a veteran.
I understand that. Would you try to see if you can reach our future guest, and while Scott and I carry on the conversation until you come back?
He's on the line. He should be. He called in.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Who's on the line with us?
Lamar, you still here?
Lamar Victor. Why have you been hiding, sir? We've been trying to reach you. Did you get in touch with Rob on a conference call?
I did not. I was actually at a funeral today, and I just came out of it, and when I realized what time it was.
Do you think you can reach him while we continue talking, sir?
Yeah, let me try it right now.
Okay. Now, you've been beneficial to veterans and non-veterans or people in general. What is your targeted market?
Human commerce, we work with, the black business and business in general here in the state of Missouri, as well as business around the country, and what we do, and we pretty much target young business owners, old business owners, and what we try to do is provide information and see businesses how they can be more profitable in either some case how to start businesses. And so we have a market that we have pretty much, and we have a lot of veterans themselves being introduced to how they can possibly become get loans and stuff for their business and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I know you don't just cover the state of Missouri, but one of your projects you got working and trying to get that rolling is down in Haytown, Missouri.
Yes, we have a project in Haytown, Missouri that we started a little over a year ago, where our goal is to create a 5G experimental hub in a rural area. And by that we mean is that in the rural areas we are trying to bring the 5G technology into the rural area that building some housing, which is building about 30 affordable housing units, supermarket, a laundromat, and also some commercial retail space. And in that area in Haytown, Missouri, we've been moving forward with the city of Haytown, with a gentleman there with the library, and also with Mayor Lisa Green. They've been very supportive of what we're doing there, and we have several of our members, Mr. Marvin Cobb, Mr. Lawrence Wood II, who've been, chairman members and very active. Also, so we have all of them members there, Reverend Larry Brown, and several of our members who have been working very diligently, and Mr. Keys, and I go down the list of our members and stuff, who have worked very hard with us. And another gentleman by the name of Mr. Donnie Green is about to invest in the creation of starting a 5G Technology Institute in Haytown, where he's in the process of buying land now for that also. So we have quite a bit of activity going on in Haytown, and what we're doing there is trying to create jobs in Missouri. In Missouri, we don't have a lot of black businesses. We got a lot of black businesses, okay, but they're not the kind where they are, of a magnitude where they could be some major employers. and most of them, have less than 100 people, but right now we're trying to change that by, working to do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. If someone wanted to become a member or somebody wanted to find out more about the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, how might they do so?
They can find me on my email address is Ira Folks, IRA_FOWLKES@yahoo.com. That's Ira, IRA, Folks, FOWLKES@yahoo.com. Get in contact with me, and I'll reach back out to you, and we'll provide you whatever that you need, and hopefully you can become one of our great members.
Okay, do we have Mr. Vickers back on the phone?
Yes. Rob is actually out on his bike, and
he got to get with Scott or Mr. Owen.
Yeah, I'd be glad to ride with
Mr. Owen got a tricycle. What do you call it?
It's a Can-Am Spider.
What we're talking about, Lamar, tell the people about your group. I know we had you on this show before. What is the name of it? Keeping the committee on guard?
Well, I'm the co-founder of KCOG, means Keeping Communities on Guard. We are currently participating in the utility and the rental assistance program. Our position in that is we were listening to United Way and all these different people talk about the fact that they were going to have these programs available for people, and all they had to do was go online and do this and this and this. And we was like, but what about all the people who can't go online? So we are servicing those who don't have the ability or the accessibility to go online. Then we also participate in the food giveaways. We have been since COVID started. We actually was doing it a year before COVID. And, we've been doing that. We also were participants in the redistricting of the neighborhood boundaries. And we were successful in lobbying to get our district, your district, and the 3rd district pushed west. They were trying to, Blue Hills traditionally started at 47th Street. Well, from the last redistricting, they moved it up to 51st Street. And this redistricting, they was going to move it again up to 55th Street. We said, no way, no how. You take us west. They said, but if you go west, you're going to include all of these other voters from the Plaza and the Westport, and you stand the chance of one day maybe even having a white city council person in your district. We said we accept that challenge because going west, what it does is it increases the median income of the 3rd and the 5th districts. And so it now is our obligation and responsibility to increase the voter turnout. Because we said to them, look, it's real simple. Only 5,000 new voters are in the 5th district now. But it's 25,000 that are already registered to vote that just haven't voted since Obama. And don't vote unless it's a presidential election. So now we are in the process of putting on our first Get Out the Vote rally of this year. And let's see what else. Right now we are participating. Brandon Ellington introduced an initiative initiative that would empower local organizations to be able to go out and get funding and get support from the cities. And
well, I guess this, Mr. Vickers, that you and Mr. Scott Horn have something in common. Both of you are in transportation, and you are like what's the song the guy, the country western guy used to sing, "On the Road Again." You're a taxi driver, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm a taxi driver from 1979 to 2004, and got married. Told my wife, said, "Come on out and drive with me." She seen how many women I picked up and said, "Oh, no, you can't do this."
Okay, let's switch it over to Mr. Scott Owen. I know you happily married. Do you get those same type of threats too?
I've been married for 38 years, sir, and never changed the never changed the oil on that. So.
Okay, Mr. Folks, I know you do a lot of driving from this place to this place. You have something you want to add to it? And by the way, if you just tune in, you're listening to a special broadcast on Memorial Day weekend, and we're covering a lot of areas. So be sure, how can a person listen to the show? Would you tell us, Mr. Folks, or would you tell us, Mr. Scott Owen?
Go ahead, Mr. Folks.
That's okay. My name is Al Frost. I'm the founder of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. We host a show every Saturday from 1 to 3 since 2015. And the way you do that, we can be found on Ferguson, USA, HotTalkRadio.com. That's all one word. Ferguson, USA, HotTalkRadio.com. And what you do that, you can engage our station. And if you engage at 5 o'clock, you can get guests who come in Kansas City. Like going to Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com. You also can be heard on Facebook and YouTube, and also on Twitch, and also on our website also.
Originally, Mr. Vickers, we wanted to talk about Memorial Day weekend. I know that's a busy weekend for you, but what are your thoughts on Memorial Day, formerly Decoration Day?
You know, I tell you, I believe that going forward, all of these holidays and all of these have to have a significance as it pertains to us, and that we need to start getting a more Afrocentric ideology and approach to the way we do a lot of things. And if I could say this, I used to be the president of KCLG. Now William is the president. I moved to the CEO position, and now I am right now forming what is called United Organizations Coalition. United Organizations Coalition. And I'm very interested in, like, maybe next week or week after, coming on talking about that, because all three organizations on this call, we want to be a part of this coalition.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the mission and the purpose of the different organizations that you're a part of?
The purpose is we want to create a resource center, if you would, a resource outreach for our streets, so that when we got a group we're forming called God's Gang, and God's Gang is prepared, once these resources have been exposed to the community, ready to say to these youngsters, look, time to put these guns down, come do something positive with us, and guess what? We're not asking you. We telling you. this is what you're going to do. And if you don't, guess what? It's not going to be the police that find you. It's going to be us. And it ain't going to be no more 7 years. It's going to be 50. Ain't going to be no more going to the first offender tank. You're going on the sixth floor with the Rams. And we're going to redefine that word snitch. And so I'm really excited that the three organizations on here have a very significant part in this, in the resources that we'll be able to offer to our people.
Okay, Mr. Folks, what about when they reduce the age limit that anyone as a parent now can go out and purchase a gun? And we seem to be black killing black.
Missouri has some of the most liberal laws in the country. And right now, anybody 18 years of age can buy a gun. And most of those laws that we're talking about were created by our legislator, who was Republican governor in the last 7 years. And right now, these guns in most cities, especially Kansas City and St. Louis, has been very detrimental to our communities. And right now, the rural communities right now are dominating our state legislators. And in the rural areas, the gun carrying all the time is no big deal. They carry motor rifles, but the handguns is becoming guns of choice. And that's what really creating havoc in all our communities right now, in our schools, on the street. And people, the kids finding guns and kill themselves. And that's why, to me, it's a bad idea. The laws were changed. They were not thought out. It's a bad idea because we're proliferation of guns now in our communities. And it's not good for us.
Mr. Scott Owen, will any of this be discussed in your meeting this coming weekend?
We do not discuss politics in itself. We basically discuss what we need to do to help other people, to help veterans. That's what our mission is, and that's what we do.
Well, since you're talking about the state of Missouri, approximately what's the number of members of veterans you have in your organization?
Oh, glory.
If you can tell that.
I really can't feel that. I'm the commander of my own chapter, and that has probably close to 200 people active and inactive in the chapter. But all over the state, I really don't know the good number for you.
Since you said you're the commander of your own chapter, what is the name of your chapter?
It's Chapter 53. That's the designation of it. And it's the funny thing is that every state has chapters starting at 1. So if I say Chapter 53, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Missouri Chapter 53. So that's the name.
Well, let's switch to Mr. Folks and Mr. Vickers. What are your suggestions about tightening up on the gun laws of how anybody can be? In the last couple of weeks, you had the Buffalo massacre. You had the massacre down in Texas, while the National Association, Rifle Association, they were meeting down there. What kind of discussion? Do you have any feedback on either one of those?
Well, I tell you, I'm really excited about our previous discussions. We have went back to, we want to find out and see how we can affect the bullets. You know, the gun laws and the gun
State your name too so people know who's talking.
This is Lamar Vickers with KCOD. We just Thursday was talking about the fact that the gun laws and the gun lobbyists, they are pretty much set with the guns. So now what we're looking at is how can we affect the sale of the bullets? Because without a bullet, a gun is nothing. So we are right now trying to research and find out how the distribution of bullets go from the manufacturer to the regional distributor to the stores. We were told that it's done by lots, and we just want to see if there's a way to be able to barcode the bullets as they're sold.
No matter what we're doing, we have laws against people shooting other people, and basically, criminals are not going to follow laws, so they will shoot. You know, these people who are not paying attention to what a law is. They don't care.
Well, honestly, what it is that we have a society that is enabling them to do it by the fact that, number one, when they do it, nobody tells on them. See, and so when they do this, they do it knowing that pretty much they're gonna get away with it. The homicide detectives here do such a raggedy job of investigating until they know pretty much they're gonna get away. And they also know this: if they get caught, they get it cut down from murder to manslaughter. They do 7 on 10, and they back out again. So I say to our prosecutor here, you're a part of the problem.
Okay.
And so we need to lobby, and that's where we're up against. We're going to lobby that if you commit a black-on-black murder, no longer is it a 10-year sentence. It's minimum 50. It's 10 years if you're in the car. See, now if you're in the car, you do 1-2 years and you gone. No, if you're in the car, that's 10 years minimum. And I guarantee you, when it get ready to go down, you get more people saying, let me out of this car.
Okay, let's go back to 1790. That's when they said because of the landowners, they created the Second Amendment. How do each one of you gentlemen feel about the Second Amendment?
I don't have a slight idea what the Second Amendment consists of, so I'll have to pass on that conversation.
Okay, the other two is open.
Well,
that's the right to bear arms, right?
Yes, that is the right to bear arms.
And it was done for people to protect their land way back in 1790.
No, sir, it was done to allow for a militia to be maintained.
Now, what year do you have?
Well, stand by. I'll look it up, but it's pretty close to...
While he's looking up, go ahead, Mr. Vickers. State what you think about this.
You know, I believe that just like the Constitution, when it was written, it was not written with our well-being in mind. And just like when the gun laws was enacted, it wasn't done so that we could be armed. Matter of fact, we were talking the other day, and they were saying that if you want to get the gun law changed, tell all the black people to go get registered.
Why not?
Tell all the black people to go buy guns and let Congress see how many black people are not going out to start buying guns. And when he said that, it really made sense. See, it's just like one of my favorite things is the way governments work, the way City Hall works, the way the construction business works. All of this stuff has been going on for so long until they think it's normal. And so it's just up to us now to write a new narrative to it all.
Okay, now, Mr. Horner, have you had sufficient amount of time to look up the dispute that 1790 I quoted earlier?
Okay, according to constitutioncenter.org, it was passed by Congress September 25th, 1789, ratified December 15th, 1791. It says a well-regulated militia, being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And yes, everybody should register and get and have at least the knowledge and the education of using an arm properly. Because if you understand that, you understand that you don't shoot at somebody who you don't want to kill.
Okay, what about the people wanting to bear arms to protect their land or their property?
Well, it doesn't say that in the amendment, but in order to preserve a free state, the democracy, that's why we need to have the right to bear arms.
And that was established when now?
It was passed by Congress in September 25th, 1789.
Okay. Any other comments on that from Mr. Vickers and Mr. R. Folks?
I would say this. I was just down in the Ozarks 2 weeks ago. And being in that ride is from Kansas City to the Ozarks, what it showed is that is the plantations and all of that, and where we was where Missouri was the last to give up the slaves. I left that weekend saying, and the last of the areas to give up their slaves, I believe, was down in that area. And I would further that by saying we ran across the street there was KK. The street was KK, with the K's looking just like the original KKK. And I asked the lady, I said, did that street used to be KKK? And she was a white lady, and we was all together, and everybody I was with, they kind of got embarrassed, because they was like, Lamar, don't, But the lady was about to answer me.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
well, probably a lot of people don't want to answer because they don't want people to know they might know more than they actually know. But I used to go down in Clinton and what have you, and all parts of Missouri when I worked for the Kansas City plant, and they had these militias organizing handguns and the whole ball of wax. Back then, that was from 70 to 78. 1970 to 1978.
I no longer believe when they say that Missouri was the last to give up their slaves. I used to think they were talking about Kansas City and St. Louis. No. No. And I believe it starts around Higginsville and works its way, I guess that would be east.
Yeah, Higginsville was approximately about 40 miles from Kansas City, Missouri.
I believe so. That was a very enlightening weekend, and even to the point where all of those people live all those different places, and they got one church in the middle of nowhere, and you can see everybody 30 minutes away, an hour away, they migrate and come to that one church.
Okay. Do you believe that church religious people are doing anything to eliminate racism, or is that part of it?
The conscious-minded churches, they do their best, but this is such a profound responsibility until it's going to, and that's what I'm excited about when you say about us and our mission. Our mission is to prove the power of the people if they can come together. And we believe that if we can finally bring people together, that we can create a synergy that cannot be stopped.
In case you just tune in, we're into our last 10 minutes of this show, which will be rebroadcast next weekend. And what we missed today, you be sure to tune in next week, and you'll get the things that maybe we're not covering today. We'll try to cover now. So in this last 10 minutes, each and every one of you state some things that our people should be very cognizant of. More importantly, when is the next time people will go out and vote?
Well, in the state of Missouri, the next national primary is in August for people to vote for our state and federal positions. Those people running for the Senate and people running for be nominated for the congressional seat that's just been redistricted most recently. And those are elected also for your state representatives, for your state senators, and those are elected for your municipal workers. Those are different times, but right now your state workers and federal workers, they all be taking place in August.
I know, Mr. Owen, you say that you guys don't get in politics, but on the same token, I'm quite sure, do y'all push to get people registered?
Yes, we do. I mean, we promote Americanism, and part of Americanism is getting out and voting, whatever your opinion is.
I know, Mr. Vickers, you had the two, my city councilman, and then her husband, about redistricting and things like that. Can you kind of tell us where you are on that? When they said, will Emanuel Cleaver be protected? Or they said Shanice Davis over in Kansas, they were trying to, and all this goes to the Secretary of State, right? Where they control it. Missouri is a red state.
No, the state map was being drawn by the House, the Senate, and the representatives in Jefferson City. And the answer to your question, Mr. Cleveland seat will be protected.
Okay.
Now here's the kicker to that stuff. The Cleaver, as it turned out, had so much power that they couldn't do his seat. But every other seat that they can get a hold to, like Sharice Davis, she's in trouble. See, she didn't have the political clout that Cleaver has, but consequently, Kansas, they just did what they wanted to do.
You mean Sharice Davis, right?
Oh, yeah, she's in trouble. And a lot of the Democrats across the country are going to suffer the same fate. And the only strong turnout is going to be able to affect the change that they put in place. And I say to you that we are embarking and it's wonderful to know that I was going to be on the call today because I said to them Thursday, see, we need this to be a statewide movement. We need the Jeff City to realize that all of a sudden the people in the inner cities are waking up and that they are starting to vote. And I wanted to see numbers in August and November that they have never seen before.
You see that Councilwoman Sharice Davis is in trouble what is her boundary for her to remain as a congressperson in Wyandotte County and et cetera? Is Bonnet Springs connected to that?
I don't know that, but I just know that I've been in Congress, been in meetings where they weren't just talking to me, where they were discussing that. And I also say to my brother on the call that we do nonpartisan get out the vote rallies. We do have sometimes have people who are running to come and speak, but we're not there endorsing anybody. What we're endorsing is your God-given right to vote.
Okay, as we get ready to close out, and I'll have something to say, but let's start with you first, then Mr. Scott, Owen, and then Lamar Vicker, and then I'll close it out.
Well, our first Missouri Congress, we wish that everyone has a safe holiday weekend. Please wear your face mask. COVID-19 is still alive and well. And then also enjoy with your families and hold your loved ones close to you and pray for those people who have been involved with the shootings around the country and that there be no more.
Next person.
I'd like to say, please remember what Memorial Day is. It is not the day to remember veterans. It is not the day to be happy. It's a remembrance of those who have passed before us, who've given us what we do have, whether we like it or not, and those who signed the check and said that it's okay if I have to die for my country.
Mr. Vickers?
I just want to say to everybody, I echo everything that was said before me. Have a great holiday weekend, and just know that it's time to go to work. And when the next couple of times that we come together, we'll be talking active steps as to how we're going to go about accepting the responsibility of changing the current culture of our community.
Okay, this is MC